By the time Monday evening settled over the quiet desert town of Red Mesa, the deadline had passed without resolution. At 5 o'clock sharp, the ransom window closed, and with it, whatever fragile certainty the family had been holding on to seemed to dissolve. No confirmation, no proof of life, no final message, just silence stretching across the foothills, like a shadow that refused to lift. Inside the Hartwell home, television screens flickered with muted coverage. Phones lay face down on kitchen counters, and every clock tick felt louder than it should. Outside, neighbors kept porch lights burning long after dusk. The world had not ended, but something fundamental had shifted. Hope was no longer loud or urgent. It had become quiet, stubborn, and deeply personal. And in that silence, every family member began confronting truths they had never spoken aloud, a daughter under the spotlight. Emily Hartwell had spent 20 years mastering composure. As the anchor of a nationally broadcast morning program, she was trained to deliver breaking news without letting emotion fracture her voice. Now she stood on the opposite side of the lens. Cameras captured her steady posture as she addressed reporters, thanking law enforcement and asking for privacy while urging cooperation. Viewers commented on her calm tone, her measured breathing, her precise words. Some mistook it for distance. Those who knew her understood it was survival. When your mother is missing and the world is watching, control becomes oxygen. Emily's steadiness was not absence of fear. It was containment. She could not afford to unravel publicly. Too many people were depending on her strength, even if they did not realize how heavy that strength felt. The woman who raised her, Margaret Hartwell, had always been the quiet center of the family. Widowed at 50, she rebuilt her life with a quiet discipline that shaped her children profoundly. She was not loud, but she was firm. Expectations were clear. Responsibility was non-negotiable. Emily often said her mother taught her that steadiness is a form of love. Even at 82, Margaret maintained routines with precision. Morning tea at 7, medication organized in labeled compartments, handwritten grocery lists folded neatly in her purse. She valued independence fiercely, refusing help unless absolutely necessary. That independence now complicated everything. It meant she would never leave voluntarily without telling someone. It meant something had interrupted her ordered world. And that disruption unsettled Emily more than anything else. Her mother was not reckless. She was deliberate. The house on Juniper Ridge. The Hartwell home sat at the edge of Juniper Ridge, where desert winds moved through tall grass and distant mountains faded purple. At sunset, it had always felt secure. Wide streets, respectful neighbors, and a sense of quiet separation from city noise created comfort. The night Margaret disappeared, there were no obvious alarms, no shattered windows visible from the street. But inside, subtle signs suggested disturbance. An overturned chair, medication left untouched, a back door not fully latched. Investigators worked methodically, careful not to speculate. Emily walked through each room once, memorizing details, then stepped outside before grief overtook her. Homes are supposed to protect the people inside them. When that illusion fractures, it leaves something colder than fear. It leaves disbelief. The ransom message. 3 days after Margaret vanished, a digital message arrived through encrypted channels. It demanded money in exchange for safe return and referenced personal details that had never been made public. The specificity unsettled everyone. Law enforcement urged caution, reminding the family that not every message in high-profile cases proves authentic. Still, the words carried weight. Emily read them repeatedly, analyzing tone the way she would dissect a political speech. Was the language rushed, controlled, emotional, detached? She wanted to believe clarity could reveal intention. Instead, it only deepened uncertainty. The message did not sound theatrical. It sounded transactional. That frightened her more. Behind every typed sentence, there was a person, and that person knew something about her mother's final hours. A statement that echoed when Emily stood before cameras and said, "We are prepared to do whatever it takes to bring her home." The sentence traveled far beyond Red Mesa. Some interpreted it as negotiation, others her desperation. For Emily, it was neither strategy nor performance. It was instinct. Her voice did not crack. Her hands did not tremble visibly. But afterward, in the privacy of her car, she allowed herself a single minute of unfiltered fear. She pressed her forehead to the steering wheel and breathed through the weight of uncertainty. Public composure is often mistaken for emotional absence. In reality, it is timing. Emotion waits for doors to close. The family fractures crisis exposes old fault lines. Emily's younger brother Daniel resented the spotlight, believing media attention complicated negotiations. Her sister Claire worried about financial implications and long-term consequences. Arguments unfolded in hushed tones behind closed doors. None of them doubted their love for their mother. They differed only in how that love should be expressed. Emily defaulted to structure and collaboration with authorities. Daniel wanted aggressive private action. Claire sought quiet negotiation. Each response reflected personality shaped by the same woman who had raised them. Strength, it turned out, can manifest in conflicting forms. Memory as anchor. In sleepless hours, Emily replayed small memories. Her mother laughing over burnt cookies, correcting grammar gently but firmly, insisting that kindness costs nothing. Those memories steadied her more than press conferences ever could. They reminded her that Margaret was more than a missing person report. She was a living history of resilience. Emily realized something subtle but profound. Her mother's lessons about control were not meant to suppress feeling. They were meant to endure difficulty without surrendering dignity. That understanding shifted something inside her. She no longer felt she was performing strength. She was honoring it, the weight of waiting. Waiting became its own adversary. Each hour without verified news stretched perception. Phones charging beside pillows, investigators updating without conclusions, community members organizing candlelight gatherings along Juniper Ridge. The desert remained indifferent, sunsets arriving on schedule as if nothing had changed. Emily learned that uncertainty is heavier than confirmed grief. Grief at least provides shape. Uncertainty floats, refusing edges. Yet within that shapelessness, something steady persisted. Connection. Friends delivered meals. Strangers sent letters. Support did not solve the crisis, but it softened isolation. Beyond the headlines, as days turned into a week, Emily recognized a quiet truth. Public narratives reduced stories to developments and deadlines, but inside the family, life was measured differently, by shared glances, whispered reassurances, and the stubborn belief that resolution remained possible. Whether the outcome would bring relief or heartbreak remained unknown. What endured was the echo of Margaret's influence. Discipline, courage, compassion, strength, Emily realized, was not the absence of vulnerability. It was the decision to remain present despite it. And so she stood, not as an anchor delivering someone else's story, but as a daughter, holding on to hope in the only way she knew how, steadily, deliberately, and with love that refused to waver.